Welcome to Fraud Exposed. My name is Lori Maddock, and today I'm going to be speaking with Win-Win. I'm going to let him introduce himself. And if you want to avoid fraud or know what to do if you've been a victim, stay with us. We're trying to help you not get ripped off. We're going to be discussing social media fraud, part two, how you can prevent it and what to do if you're a victim. Win, thanks for joining me. Tell everybody who you are.
Thank you, Laurie. Hi, my name is Win Win. I'm a founder of Cyber Armor, and where we focus in fraud and try to protect the financial institution.
Okay. Now we've been talking about social media. So the last show we talked a lot about Facebook, a little bit about WhatsApp, but I want to talk about LinkedIn because I recently read an article. This to me was absolutely astounding. It said 32 million profiles are fake. I would love to hear from LinkedIn to hear if this is actually true. I've mostly had good experiences on LinkedIn. But what's really interesting is that when someone is trying to schedule an appointment with me and their profile says that they're in New York City, but they only want to chat with me on WhatsApp, I've now learned of that as a warning. And it's usually like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I know they're not in my country. One time I had an appointment scheduled by phone or by WhatsApp actually at 3 p.m. I left, never heard back from the person. And at 3 a.m., my phone rings.
Wow.
I don't know what was wrong or why they would think they would call me if they know that I'm in Florida. But do you think that 32 million people, is it actually possible that 32 million people have fake profiles? Because the only other clues I get are if usually it's a man and they'll say hi. There's no other they're waiting to see if I'm going to respond. And so I've learned at this point, if you're only going to say hi, I'm going to block you because I know that's not a legitimate opening to somebody that's in business. And then other times I get emails from people where you can tell they downloaded, the email addresses from LinkedIn site. They haven't sent me any message through LinkedIn at all, but they're now sending me messages, usually some type of investment thing, which is probably a scam, of course, doing that. So I want you to talk a little bit about LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's LinkedIn is similar to Facebook where there's no validation occur. So we can sign up how many times we want it, right? Because all we need is a email address or phone number. So so yeah, it's the 32 millions. I'm not surprised at all. So big
Okay.
yeah, it's just very open platform where people just connect and sign up and connect with people. Now the problem to it is it's open to a widespread of issue, right? Like the insider threat type. Hacker will leverage LinkedIn to building their profile, making a connection with the employee of their target, and and they would build the relationship, eventually try to um, pay their one of the person they connect to some type of money so they can be the insider, right? So
Okay.
yeah, it's a LinkedIn is one of the major platform out there that be very high risk in securities out there.
One of the things I know when someone sends me, a request to connect, I look at the profile because a lot of times I'll see that they have zero followers, zero friend, like the zero or a very low number to me. A lot of times the picture almost looks like too good or too
Mhm.
professional. It's not adding up. The other thing I notice, different people write different things on their profiles. Some people write their entire life story, which now you're giving away way too much information again. I kind of like it when it's in the middle because if you don't give any information or hardly any, I'm going to say chances are you're not real or you're a beginner. But even if you're a
Mhm.
beginner, you have friends that would have already connected you, with you on LinkedIn. So you kind of have to evaluate, I think, what information you're seeing on their page, because people will claim, hey, they got a college degree, they went to Harvard, they did this, they did that. And a lot of that is false. But I don't think that LinkedIn really vets what anybody puts in. They let you put in whatever you want, right?
Pretty much, it's really hard to verify those. And yeah, it's when people try to make a connection with me, for example, and what I do similar to you is I look into their profile, look at their connection, look at their activities of how active they are with other people, their history, right? Um, and a lot of them, like some of the not hacker profile that I've seen is they listed because I previously work in a financial institution. Their profile is target financial institution, so they listen a lot of the banks out there, and you look at the year that they spend, and it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't links
Right.
to their how they look, for example, or um, the the experience that they listed doesn't show anything. So when their profile is too sexy, you might want to stay away from them. But when they are not sexy at all, you might also want to stay away from them because a lot of the people right now they leveraging LinkedIn to make connections. So they have a lot of activities going on in their
Right.
profile. So that's kind of like a way that I use to filter out a little bit. But yeah, you can sign up with any name. You can copy, right? Similar to Facebook, where you can use any picture in the profile, and you can, that's a way to build relationship or build trust in people before you start the attacks.
Yeah, I tend to check people out every way possible at this point, just because that's who I've had to be, who I've had to become in order to make sure I'm safe. I know we talked a little bit like about romance scams. Now,
Mhm.
I do know a fellow who it wasn't a romance, it didn't get that far, but he was getting messages through LinkedIn from a woman who was like overseas and telling me about it. And I'm like, let me look. And I'm going, nope, nope, I wouldn't do it. I would block and delete. I got them, and years ago when I first used to get them, where I said they would say hi. Now I know to block and delete. But back then I thought, okay, this is a lead, this could be a lead. And they would ask things like, oh, how tall are you? How old are you? And I'm going, why would I give away that information? It's none of your business. This is supposed to be a professional site. Um, Sadly, in the last, I'm going to say last year or so, LinkedIn's feed is now, I don't know, crazy. It's become almost as bad as Facebook. To me, LinkedIn is where you meet business people, correct? We met,
Yeah.
we were friends through LinkedIn. But there are a lot of people that I look at the things that they post, and again, they're entirely inappropriate. They don't realize who is looking at it. I'm very wary of any men who try to approach me from, kind of not a business angle. I can kind of sense it, I guess, at this point. But I'm assuming that this is another way, like romance scams can happen, because on LinkedIn, you can remain private to your network, but if you have a big network like I do, there's more people that can look me up on different things and search me out. Whereas if you're totally open, then anybody can look you up. And again, companies can look you up, but romance scammers can look you up, right?
Yeah.
So I would assume that you've given so much information because you're trying to do it from a business perspective, but instead it becomes like a personal perspective. And now they're going to look you up on other social media, and it's almost as if they know you when they contact you. Or they'll say, oh, look, we have these 25 friends in common on LinkedIn. Like that makes it
Mhm.
any better. So maybe
Yeah.
elaborate a little bit about like romance scams and what do you look out for?
Yeah, is I would be like on LinkedIn would be very keep it very professional, right? Is as well. everyone, as we've seen, you cannot trust at all in the internet, and unless you kind of like interacting like this virtually. But even with this, you kind of have that mindset of, can you really trust them? Because with the AI, with the voice impersonator, or the video impersonator, you can build any type of profile you wanted, and to make this type of interaction, right? So yeah, is just be very aware of anyone in building some type of relationship beyond professional. I think you have to be very careful with that. And going back into your information sharing, right? You should limit
Right.
information as much as you can, because um, this is a great way for people, hackers, to leverage to attacking companies, your companies that you work for. So they gather all the profile of the employees for their companies, and they're building, all this relationship, then all the information that you share. The more you share, the risky it get. So yeah, it's very dangerous. Is gotta keep it as minimum as possible. Um, so you can be protecting yourself and for your employer. So
Yeah, I think one of the things you can do is, if the person has their website listed, a lot of times I'll look at the website to see, uh, does it even look like a real website? Is it under construction? But sometimes I'll Google the person's name, and I'm going to tell you sort of a
yeah.
scary story where, okay, so person A is someone that I know, a friend, and he was looking for venture capital financing. And so I, went through my LinkedIn list and I found person B on my list and I contacted this person. We had a nice phone conversation, seemed like a very nice fella. He was very, very interested in being introduced to my friend person A. And I said to person A, this guy sounds like he's a good match for you. However, I didn't have time to vet him out and do a check on him to see if there's anything wrong. So I'm letting you know that beforehand, because person A, my friend, had to go back to somebody else on this project. And what ended up happening was, the person he went back to did some vetting because my friend did not. So it turned out that person B, the venture capitalist, had an entirely different name, had changed his name, and he was on the front of one of the main New York newspapers for, I think it was human trafficking or sex trafficking, something to, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, can you imagine now, like going back to, so person A did didn't neither of us did our part in checking him out, and now person B is coming back to me going, hey, what am I going to talk to you for? And got very angry, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to engage. I'm going to block and delete and just block him on my phone, because I felt like he changed his name to be deceptive as to who he was, rather than come out and say what he did. But the problem is no one would ever hire him because of the reasons of the things that he did. So, I don't know, LinkedIn, now I know LinkedIn, like I have the free version. I don't know anyone who has the paid version off the top of my head, but does the paid version offer any more protection, or is it really a
No.
moot? No, it's really just a
The
moot point.
Yeah, the paid version is more in for the business size, where you can use to outreach to people without any connection, right? So I
Right.
can, and this is what the hacker does as well, right? So for, I think 99 a month, they can harvest all their targets very quickly. So yeah, with the pay account, you can search any companies and start linking them very quickly, without the
Yeah,
limitation that the free version have. So
I gotcha. Now, I'm only learning Instagram. I don't know a lot about Instagram, very
mhm.
little in all honesty. I mostly just post pictures of my dog. Instagram, TikTok, I don't know that much about, except that TikTok I know, apparently gathered information on young kids that wasn't legal. What can you tell me about those two sites hacking, and is there a way to protect yourself?
Get off of it. It's just one
Yeah,
quick way.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so the TikTok, Instagram owned by Facebook. So
Okay,
yeah, they are a great way for um, the companies to harvest, all our information and sell that, right, to other companies. But also a good opportunity the hacker also used to hack people, or to build profile to hack people, and advertisement, right? Hacker recently started leveraging um, Instagram and TikTok to advertising their service in the open web. So yeah, it's a very mix of of people that doing the big potentially being a victims to the hacker themselves.
yeah. It's interesting. I mean, the Instagram, I have a friend that's awesome on Instagram. She makes incredible videos every single day for her business and gets a lot of business out of it. And she told me it works best when it's done from your phone and not from your computer, so I'm a little slow. I'm trying to pick up. But one of the things I did not do, I did not link my Facebook page, which is private, to my Instagram page, which is, I think, pretty much public. And there's a lot of bizarre people that try to send me follow, like they'll say somebody's following you. And I'll look at their page and go, oh my God, I'm not following this person. This looks like a crazy person. The truth is, I don't know how to because they're following me, I don't know how to unfollow them. And so that's something I'm gonna have to look up and figure out because yeah, there's really nutty people.
Yeah.
Um,
And
recently, 20, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut
That's
you.
okay.
One of the issue or attack that we haven't really talked about yet, but as we can leverage like the Instagram, the like who follow you, right? And building relationship with that as well. Like as we talked in the last video where your profile is private. However, the interaction that you have with your family member are public, so hacker can use that information to really build a profile for you. And for example, if I know that you have a relative who's 30-year old, and I want to target her, for example, I can build a profile using your name and
Yeah.
start to make a connection with her, right? Adding her as a family member, then start to slowly social engineer her into provide me information about her personal data. And yeah, this a type of risk that we have to aware of. Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok, like the CEO of the TikTok mentioned, he don't even let his kid using TikToks. That's how scary
Yeah.
it is. So
It's
we
actually,
shouldn't be,
yeah.
letting our kid putting all the information out there, right? For people to see. So
And I gotta back up. I'm just thinking about Facebook. So on my page, it says that one person is following me. And when I click on that, it doesn't show me anything. I have no idea who this one person is who's following me. What does that mean? I mean, they're not friending me, but they're following me. But I don't get to know who it is who's following me. It's a secret.
yeah, I'm
I'm
not
saying I don't
sure.
know. I don't
Yeah.
know what it means.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. It might be about something, but um, like
Yeah.
if you I believe if you write a story and post it openly, they can follow you. Now the algorithm of what does that mean is I'm not 100% sure, but yeah,
Yeah.
is is very it's not very open, right? And Facebook is not very open in protecting us you know, even though they do have security group in Facebook to handle this type of situation, but I don't think it's enough. And our information, I think people just a little bit too open to that they share too much information in there. So
Yeah, I agree. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but I just read that 23andMe, which is the, you know, the I guess the Ancestry DNA site or whatever it is, they were just hacked.
mhm.
And so, so everything is being hacked, but they have been hacked. That has a real lot of personal information on that. I know law enforcement, you know, uses 23andMe. You've got a lot, like in my family, I have a family member who did it and discovered other family members who were born out of wedlock probably 70 years ago and didn't know it. But now that information has become public, so it makes me very wary to do anything. And when I'm not like you when it comes to the computer, but when I find the list of all the things that say I have a password and I see that I haven't used them in a long time, I just start going through them and I delete everything that I haven't used. And I do try to change my passwords. Um, the other thing I wanted to mention too was, you know, one of the reasons I have so many credit monitoring services for free, again, is because so many companies have breached, yet you don't really see any regulatory agency slapping them with big fines and using those fines to come back to the people who are now having identity theft, you know, issues like I do. Uh, Somebody should pass a bill, you know, a law, something. But, you know, one of the reasons I do like the monitoring is because I do see things pop up. Unfortunately, though, like I said in the example I gave earlier, I had something pop up in December and it was from November of 2019, which is what, 3, 4 years ago. You're a little late there in popping it up. So I know my stuff is on the web. I've got to, you know, do it. Just watch everything. Any final thoughts from you on, you know, hacking and any advice that you can offer?
Limit yourself as much as you can. Don't trust the platform to protect you, because they can't, most of the time they can't even, you know, protect themselves. Like the 23andMe, where they start blaming the victims that for the hack. So yeah, is I've been in a few organization. Um, and seeing internally how they handle the customer data is very scary. So yes, you don't want to put your trust into this organization too much. You have to um, protect yourself first.
Right. Well, you know, most people, for me, it's a little harder to do that because, you know, in hosting a show and promoting the show, there's a lot of stuff. I volunteer for Animal for Dog Great Dane Rescue for a long time. So my stuff is already out there. It's not like I can hide myself at this point unless I change all my phone numbers, and somehow people always seem to figure that out. But if you don't have to have your information out there publicly, limit it. And I would just say, you know, young kids shouldn't be on social media. Way too
Yeah.
dangerous. Too many bad things happen to them, especially with those challenges and things like that. So I think what we're going to end up doing is posting a list of where people can try and go for help. You know, and obviously you can try the police, but my favorite, of course, are the TV news investigators, especially if it's, you know, if it's a service or if it's a product. But if you get the news involved, but think about doing your own show. People don't realize the power of doing, even if you're just doing one podcast, just keep it to statement of fact. And you know, maybe the company will listen. I mean, when I've had issues with companies, I've gone to Elliot.org. I love that site because again, they will help you for a small fee, or if they're the company that you're going up against is listed on there, they list the emails of corporate executives. That is one of my best tips. And it's something I've used, but the media, yep, they're interested in stories where people are getting, you know, ripped off, and that's what we're trying to stop. So Glenn, I want to thank you for joining me today, and we will see you again soon.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a good one.